All right, another new re-upload review. This is for episodes 1 to 10 of OK K.O. Let's Be Heroes Season 2. I just got done doing the Season 1 review for any of the people who are watching them because it's like, oh, that's a new review. I caught you, Shark. I talked a bit about how I thought this show was underrated, how I think it was actually one of the better cartoons in recent years that I've seen. Obviously, I haven't watched a ton. I don't know. I would kind of say that, like, I feel like OK K.O. and it's weird because I feel like a good comparison is almost like She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. To just kind of continue my thoughts from the Season 1 review for anyone I says, like, I feel like with OK K.O. and She-Ra, neither show completely blew me away, but I feel like both shows had a lot that I could really enjoy and not much that was, like, problematic. Now, I guess I will say this, though. Like, I think She-Ra was swinging higher than OK K.O., and due to that fact, it was not it had a few issues. Like, I don't think She-Ra was perfect. OK K.O. is this weird thing where it's like, I feel like the show was almost perfect, but it wasn't swinging for the greatest cartoon of all time. It was swinging to be a good, entertaining cartoon, and I feel like it hit exactly what it was wanting to do. She-Ra, I feel like She-Ra didn't miss as many beats as a Steven Universe or even a Star, as much, again, I love Star. She-Ra was kind of like those shows swinging for a higher bar, and I feel like She-Ra didn't miss much, but it wasn't perfect either. It's really interesting when I think about it, because I want to do this, and I want to eventually kind of try and piece together my opinions on all of, like, the cartoons I've reacted to and stuff, and anime too, but it's a really interesting thing, because when I really think about this, it's like, I feel like all these shows, did a lot of good, but I feel like there are, with most of them, there are, inherent issues, whether they're small, big, whatever, and it's interesting for me to kind of compartmentalize, because I did enjoy all these shows a ton. You guys know that. You've seen my reactions, but it's interesting for me to try and compartmentalize it, because there was so much that I loved, and it's like, it's really hard for me to judge a show like Steven Universe, where it's like, I loved that show so much, especially when it was at its best. But then there were other times, and because I feel like with Star, I'm a little more like overall, like I feel like that show. I feel like Star gets a little more probably hate than it deserves, whereas I feel like Steven Universe, I feel like it's probably the right amount, because I feel like with Star, I defended a little more. Like, if I had, like, because I do think it was the better show between Star and Steven, because they kind of had a little bit of a rivalry, I feel like, because they were both so big at the same time. But I really loved both a lot, and it was a lot of fun, but Star was my favorite of the two, and I stand by that. It was the better show overall, but I also think that Star had a better grasp of its identity, and it wasn't perfect there, but I feel like it was closer. But OK K.O. just always knew what it was. And that's just what, like, I feel like that's such a praise for Ian. Like, I feel like he had such a strong vision for what his show he wanted to do with the show, what he wanted the show to be, what he wanted Enid and Rad and K.O. to be. And it just worked. And I feel like I can appreciate that on just like just a simple level. He made a show that made sense, and he made it work. And it's just like, how can you not, like, love that? That's freaking awesome that he made a show that just made sense and worked. And that's very clear as you watch this show. It was a really cool show, and it's like I said, it's one of those things. This is probably the last time I'm ever going to talk about this show on camera, because I don't really see, like I said, unless I do, maybe some, like, big, like, tier list or some type of video just talking about cartoons that I've watched. I can't wait. Like, it's an interesting show, because it's not a show I think about. I don't think about this show at all, really, anymore. It's just crazy, because it's not even been that long since I finished it. But it's just not a show that comes to mind. It's not a show I really think about that much anymore. But it was so good at the same time. But it was so good in, like, such a casual way that it was like, and it definitely, I feel like this is a show that, like, if I was younger, if I was a kid, oh my god, this show would be so fire. As an older person, I feel like it's not even that directed towards me. compared to some other cartoons. Like I feel like a Star or a Steven is a little more directed towards all ages. But like I can appreciate the good writing, and I could just appreciate like the work and the passion that was put into the project, and I can see the brilliance behind it. So it's like I really, really appreciate that. So that's why, I don't know what Ian's done or is doing, if anything, since then, but because I feel like Rebecca, and I love Rebecca. I love, Steven Universe. While it wasn't perfect, I have so many great memories of Steven Universe. But also, Rebecca, I feel like, is like amazing in like a supporting role. Like I feel like her work on Adventure Time was brilliant. So like I would love to see Ian and Rebecca, because I mean back then I know they were dating. I assume they still are. I have no idea though. But assuming they still are, I would love to see them work on a project together. Because I feel like Ian is like really good at like keeping hold of his direction, but like Rebecca is a musical genius. So I feel like you can do those two, I would love to see them maybe co-run a show, maybe kind of Rick and Morty style, like with Harmon and Roiland, if they like co-ran a show. And I feel like Ian kind of focused a little more on the grander kind of themes, and Rebecca kind of focused more, was a little more pinpoint on like specific parts and specific things and the way you do it. And I feel like, because like Steven Universe was really good at how they handled specific things, and I feel like you could like really mix it. And I feel like those two would make for a great just series. I feel like if those two at the head of a Cartoon Network show at some point would be really sick, and that's probably never going to happen, but that would be really cool. I'd just love to see it. I think that would be awesome. So I don't know. I'm just throwing out random stuff. Like I said, this is just a hub for my reactions to 1 to 10 of OK K.O. Season 2. But I really did enjoy OK K.O. and I'm just trying to find stuff to talk about. And I don't really talk about, even those other shows, but like Star and Steven and stuff, I'm finding an excuse to talk about. And those are shows that I probably have a lot more to say about overall, good and bad. Whereas like with OK K.O., there isn't much I have to say, but it is still interesting to talk about it, because this is literally, I think, the first time I've talked about OK K.O. really since I finished it. Like, it's not a show that I discuss with any of my friends or anything. It's not a show really anyone talks about since it ended. And I obviously haven't made any videos about it since it ended, so it's really interesting to discuss OK K.O. A little bit, even if I'm just kind of comparing it to its contemporaries, to other series that were popular around the same time in the Cartooniverse. But OK K.O. was great, and I really liked it. And you guys can watch my reactions soon. Whenever this is going up, the other videos are not going to be far behind, so soon they will all be archived on YouTube, I'm sure. So anyways, peace. It's Flamin' Shark. Peace.